Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about one of my favorite podcasts. It's called SmartLess with Will Arnett, Jason Bateman, and Sean Hayes. Cannot forget Sean. And I haven't been watching it that much lately, but during a time when we were, would you call it beer bud? I was really into it.
Beer bug. The
Beer
beer bug.
bug, not beer bud. beer bug. I was really into it, and I've been watching it still, but not as much as I did like before. So, but Kellie, you'd never seen it before, right?
Well, because we were going to talk about it, you told me to watch
Check it
it.
out.
So
Yeah.
I don't think they have video, and I don't like that. It's all audio. So
Yeah,
I
you're
didn't like
right.
that. Because
If you like our videos, go ahead and click on like and subscribe. We really appreciate it.
right
Thanks.
that. Because even if I just see them in the beginning and then go do something and listen, I just want to be able to picture the people. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that about it. Um, and when I was very much into being an actor, I would have loved it because I
Mm-hmm.
I listened to two of them. One was with Charlize Theron,
Mm-hmm.
was with Tom Hanks, who I
Mm-hmm.
had.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting. They
Mm-hmm.
were
Mm-hmm.
fun, interesting way to
I'm
kick off.
entertained by their personalities, of course, but I just love their camaraderie. Mostly it's entertainers, actors and such. It's people they know. They always try to do this surprise thing where like today, and then they'll say a couple things off of about that person, and the other two try to guess who it is because they always get to pick every time. Will do one and Sean will do one. I would say, if I'm going to guess, maybe 90% of them are in the entertainment business, like other actors. But they had Joe Biden on maybe a couple months ago or so.
Really?
Yeah. And they had Neil deGrasse
Wow.
Tyson, which was a really good one. And I was really impressed with how much Will Arnett knew. No, sorry, not Will Arnett. Jason Bateman knew about science and things. I was really surprised because he was, really going one toe to toe with Neil deGrasse Tyson about, the distance time from the sun to, how the distance of time from till it hits the earth, the speed of light is what I'm trying to say. He was like really going to toe with him on all these facts that I was really impressed. I was like, did he know ahead of time what he was going to ask him?
No, I got the impression that Jason Bateman is very intelligent, and I
Uh-huh.
don't. I've seen him on something
Mm-hmm.
and got that impression. So I think it was probably genuine.
Yeah, yeah. So he, just with going over different scientific facts and stuff. So I was very impressed with that. I love Sean Hayes because I used to watch him on Will and Grace all the time, and I've seen him do Broadway. Well, a show that went to Broadway. Um, I saw him do perform live theater. So I'm a big fan of his too. But for me, podcasts are about the ones that I tend to watch are the ones that I can or watch and listen. This one you can't watch; you can only listen to it, right? But for me, it's about entertainment because I need a release from a stressful day usually. So I'm always for me, I like to laugh, is what I'm trying to say.
Uh-huh.
I need humor. So that's why I was telling you off topic. Brittany Furlane, Tommy Lee's wife, she had one called Worse First, and I was watching it a little bit too, and it was just really really funny, and I was like, yes, that's why I need laughter and humor because it just is such a release for me.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, that's that one, and I've been listening to it for about a year, and I like the fact that they all riff off of each other. There's a lot of commercials in that one, though. I mean, I do, I'm envious because we would like more sponsors, but I was like, it's a lot more than I'm used to. I'd say about every 7 minutes or less, there's a commercial for something. And
Well,
I'm
they're
like,
expensive guys.
I
So
know,
I'm
right?
sure they're commanding lots of money, so got to give them lots of sponsors.
Right,
But
right.
yeah, they're so likable. They're three very
That's true.
likable personalities,
That's true.
and I think pretty smart too.
Right.
Um,
And I was reading about how they were saying, why did they call it SmartLess? Because they wanted to learn about new things and investigate things that they don't know about. So, Sean Hayes, he's always the comic relief, and he's very smart too. But I think on SmartLess, he always pretends like he's not very smart, but I think he is.
I think they're doing a play on words because they're all pretty intelligent.
Right.
They don't want to come across as being whatever, obnoxious about it, like
right, pretentious, or
we're not only good looking, funny, talented actors, but we're also very smart.
Right.
So I think it was kind of like a way to downplay.
And Will Arnett, he's just so, he's really funny too, and he's a good writer, and I believe he was married to Amy Poehler, who was from Saturday Night Live. So I was always thinking they must have been a really funny couple. But I just like the chemistry between them. They had Jennifer Aniston was on one episode because Jason Bateman is obviously good friends with her. And they did a couple movies together, I believe.
Yeah.
So and it's just, I actually almost went to see them live too. They did this tour, like where they were going to all these theaters, and you got to see him doing it live, but I was like, I couldn't go because I had something going on. But anyway, that's one of my favorite ones. And I just enjoy their guests. I hope they keep doing it because I know their schedules are so busy. I watched Jason Bateman on Ozarks, and I always think, how can people do a TV show, a series, and a podcast? It just seems like a lot of work, plus all the other things that you're doing in your life, right?
Well, I would think they have a lot of help. They have production people helping them with the podcast, doing the editing and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So probably all they have to do is just show up once a week or whatever and chat for an hour with their guests.
I guess. But
I mean, I know it always ends up being more work than you think it's going to be, but if they have people helping them do the production behind the scenes, I think it's probably doable. But I found that one to be entertaining, not my type of, not what I'm looking for at this point in my life. But it was entertaining and not time wasted. I had it on when I was cooking. So I just listened to 2 different ones when I was cooking. And I thought Charlize Theron, I always think she's very interesting and very talented. And she was telling the story of how she was discovered. And
I heard that one too. Yeah.
I think she was just she's like, oh, they were so patient with me and I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm like, yeah, because they wanted to get to know you really well. And so they were not just doing it because, she's so talented, because there's beautiful women all over Hollywood and talented women that they could have found. But I think she's just so stunning, so exceptionally beautiful.
And
probably
she's
did
really
something in her, but it turns out that she's very talented.
She's very talented. She's very bright, and she seems like a compassionate person. She's a very compassionate person. I know she's been through a lot. She's had a real tragic life.
Yeah, her father her mother had to kill her father because of domestic violence and all that.
Yeah, so that's a rough thing,
Yeah.
And so anyway, but that's why I like that show, because of the chemistry, and they're riffing off of each other. And I listen to it sometimes when I'm going to sleep, actually, because it's not something that's going to make me like have to really like think hard.
Right. Because then you stay awake. Sometimes I do that too. I always watch videos to fall asleep. And then if it's really interesting, it keeps you awake because you want to find out what happened. So if you can just have something entertaining on, then you can doze off and not feel like you missed anything.
Yeah. So laughter comedy is definitely my medicine, besides music. So so that's it. So I'm glad you liked it, and check it out.
So we would recommend people to watch
SmartLess. They say it like that. SmartLess.
So it's got our stamp of approval. Kellie and Kimbra in the moment. If you're watching podcasts, and please join us and watch ours too. We hope that you are entertained by us. We're not funny.
I'm trying to be funny. I'm trying to develop my funny bone.
Okay.
But I wouldn't call myself funny in the sense of like, Will Arnett and Jason Bateman. I don't know if Jason Bateman's more of a light, romantic comedy.
You have to have just wit.
Improv.
Yeah. Instead of, it's not like we're doing a comedy movie.
Right.
Like that. But
that's true. And, humor. But anyway,
see humor in things.
You have to see the humor in things. Otherwise, you can't take life so seriously, in my opinion. I mean, you take the things that are serious, right? But you always have to see the humor in things, because most things are just so you can't make these things up, you know?
And I'm more serious, obviously. If people have watched our podcast, I always am very, you know, in my personal life, I'm silly and goofy, but when I'm doing the podcast, I just prefer to talk about serious things that matter.
Well, I think,
where I am in my life.
Like I think, and on SmartLess, they do talk about, like I said, some things that matter. Like they try to bring some things on, but they do it in a humorous, lighthearted way, because I feel like that sometimes that makes it more palatable, interesting for people to, you know, stick with the show instead of just an academic format. So, you know, I've got enough academic all day long and so that's why I'm like, when at night I just want to.
And I'm the opposite. I've just always been that nerd. I could never get enough of knowledge and reading and nerdy stuff. But
I'm constantly having to read like 1 or 2 new books every week at least, you know, and it's time consuming. I mean, nobody has time to read anymore.
What are you reading books for? Tell everyone.
Well, you know, sometimes I help these kids that I've been helping since the beer bug, and online I've been tutoring some kids in thesis and English and things like that. And so you're
very good at that. I always tell you, you're a really good, you would have been a good mother, and you're a really good teacher.
Oh, thanks. I don't know if I'm a good teacher, but I try.
I think so.
Well, thank you. I try.
Well, the things you've told me.
I'm patient, and I always, you know, the thing that you do when you teach, in my opinion, is you try to include them, you know, like, what do you think about this, and not talk down to them, you know, because usually that shuts people down. But anyway, so a lot of these books that I'm helping these kids with are books that I never got to read. Like I never read Frankenstein, you know, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And so that's a very important book when you're going through school. And so, I mean, not important book, but it's one of the books usually that they required reading in high school. So I was reading it with my student, and he was like, I don't understand this at all. You know? So I'm like, yeah, let's investigate this together. You know, it was written, you know, in the 1800s. So for someone that's born, you know, Generation Z, it's like it's pretty heavy-handed for them to have to. So like, and the language that was written. And so anyway, so like I'm saying all these, you know, I had to do Shakespeare for one of his brother. And I was like, you know, we spent a whole summer reading, Hamlet, not Macbeth. And so every day it was like going through that language was. So when I come home, that's what I'm saying. I just want to laugh.
Yeah. No, I didn't know that. And I didn't mean to pry. I just thought it was interesting. Like, why are you reading these books? And then it, you know, brought up the things that you've told me about helping these kids.
Yeah.
I always think, wow, you're really good at that. Because what you tell me, how you handle them, and you care, you really care. You really
thank you. That's funny. That's what thank you. That's one of my, the lady that got me involved in this. She was saying that the other day. She goes, thank you for really caring. I was like, well, yeah, I care, because I want these kids, you know, like this one of my students one of these kids that I'm helping, he wants to, you know, be a chemical engineer or something. And I'm like, you know, but his passion is the movies. So he was talking about, he's only 13 and he knows the budget for all these blockbuster movies, like how much they spend, how much they make. He tells me that stuff. Right. I'm like, you should intern at a movie studio after college, and or you should. And he does he has his own little like Rotten Tomatoes where he rates the movies, and I said you should do that in high school. Create your own little online thing. And I'm always telling him. And then I'm like, but what are you getting in math? I want to know, you know. And he's like, well, I'm still getting it, you know, 98%. I'm like, okay, because math is still really important. Come on, you know. So I'm, you know, I'm acting like, I don't know. It's just because if you're going to do something, do it right. Right. And I would like somebody to help me when I was in college. I would like someone to be like that for me. Right. Yeah. Not just right. Yeah. So going through
I love it. I love those stories that you've told me. And now that I know you're reading books with them too, I think that's so cool.
Yeah. It's hard. And it's kind of a neat thing though, because like I said, if I don't force myself to read these books, I have a friend, Sandy, she's a real avid reader and she's always reading. And but hers are more not books that are required by high school or college. Which could, sometimes that you could, well,
yeah.
Anyways,
very interesting. I didn't know that about you, so I learned something new.
Oh, circular back to SmartLess.
Yes.
We are, recommending it. We're giving it. Kellie and Kimbra are giving it 2 thumbs up, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, we'll see you next time on Kellie and Kimbra in the Moment.
Yeah. Thanks for listening in.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.